speaking of stories that aren't going anywhere, you know, the trans stuff, which we end up having to spend so much time talking about because it's so, I would say, nefarious in the way it's put its tentacles into everything. So I'll give you the stupid disclaimer just to start. If you're trans and you're an adult, I don't care how you live, I don't care what you wear, I don't care who you marry, I don't care any of that stuff, I don't care what bathroom you go to, blah, blah, blah. That being said, I don't think young children should transition and chop off their genitals or do any other things like that. You can watch my interview with Abigail Schreier if you want some more information on that. And I also think that you still have to go to, if you're going to jail, you got to go to the jail that's your biological jail. Sort of like if you're playing sports, you got to play with the people who are biologically the same as you. That's just how it is. Thanks for the numbers here. 0.6% of US adults identify as transgender. So I really want you to think about how much time the transgender argument takes up when less than 1%, basically a half of 1% of people identify as transgender. That isn't to say we should treat those people poorly. I don't want laws against these people, and I want them to find love and happiness and fulfillment and purpose and all of those things, but we shouldn't break the entire system in honor of that. Well, that seems to be what we're doing, especially here in California. We've got some info from Yahoo News. A California law allowing transgender inmates to pick the prison gender of their choice has come under fire from a women's rights group citing abuse of females by men. In a letter to evil Governor Gavin Newsom, I added evil, the Women's Liberation Front accused the state of violating the constitutional rights of incarcerated women by allowing men into their living quarters to prey on women. Since the law took effect on January 1st, WLF has received numerous complaints of assaulted, abused, and traumatized women at the hands of male inmates transferred into their prisons, Wolf Legal Director Lauren Adams said. So let's just be clear about what's happening here. Instead of sending people to the prison that matches their biological sex, okay, we are now allowing men, because this is where it's happening. It's not happening with a lot of women that transition to men to go into the men's prison, right? That's not going to end well. We all know that wouldn't end well. So what's happening is biological men who either are trans or are perhaps psychologically confused or are pretending, I don't know, we don't know. These are people who are criminals and probably have a series of other problems and drug use and everything else. But I'm not even trying to make it about that. Let's just say you're a trans guy. You're a man who's living as a woman. Okay, that's just fine. But now we're going to put you in women's prison. And then what happens? Violent assaults, rapes, all of these things. We know these things are happening. And again, why isn't it happening the other way? Where there aren't women who are trans men going into the men's prison and beating the crap out of men, right? Like, that's strange how it never happens that way, right? There aren't an awful lot of girls who transition to boys and then crush all the boys in wrestling. Very odd, very odd. But this shouldn't surprise anybody because intersectionality has made everyone stupid. It has made everyone absolutely stupid, and this is what wokeism does to everything. So during the election, you may remember this moment. Biden was speaking at some big gay event, and just listen to what he said.
Yes, and by the way, in prison, the determination should be that your sexual identity is defined by what you say it is, not what, in fact, the prison says it is.
Really think how stupid and dangerous and pandering and nonsensical that is. But let's be clear, that was the man who was to become the president of the United States, who may or may not actually be the one in charge, basically saying that what we're doing here in California is the right thing to do, that you get arrested. Let's say let's just say you're a serial rapist, serial rapist. You raped a couple women, you put on a dress, and then you go and they're going to sentence you, and they say, actually, you've got lifetime in jail because you raped, maybe you killed a bunch of women, you did some bad stuff. And then you go, oh, well, it's not what's, my biological sex, it's not what's on my identification, it's not because I have the genitals of a man, I'm a woman, and I want to go to the women's prison. Well, by Joe Biden and by Gavin Newsom and the other ridiculous people who run the silly banana republic of California, we're going to send that guy to a woman's prison. You think we got a problem here? And you see how these stories are connected? Like, this is directly connected to just destroying logic and reason, which is exactly what critical race theory is. So that's what intersectionality is. It's linking together these opposed oppressions, and within that link, it then will destroy the teachers' unions, it will destroy our prisons, and by the way, once you destroy teachers' unions, and then you in effect, you're destroying our children's ability to learn, and then you destroy the prisons, our ability to rehabilitate people. What are you left with a society? And none of that should surprise you, because I'll link it back to another story we did yesterday, which is how the Democrats were completely unable to praise America on July 4th. And we've got people like, Congresswoman Cori Bush and Congresswoman Maxine Waters and Congresswoman AOC, where they just basically couldn't say anything good about America on July 4th. These people don't think America is good, so they would gladly have our schools go down and all our systems go down and burn the whole thing down. So we have work to do.